Ladies and gentlemen, Russia has issued a new threat to the US, and they are not happy with these weapons that have gone to the Ukraine. Now, if you remember in the very beginning, Russia made it very clear anybody helping Ukraine and with weapons, and those weapons kill Russian soldiers, he was coming for you. So I'm going to go ahead and play this audio from Newsweek.
Russia threatens U.S. and lays down red line. Russia has issued its newest warning to the U.S. against sending longer range missiles to Ukraine, saying that providing such weapons would cross its red line. Speaking at a briefing Thursday, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova threatened that the U.S. could face consequences if it does not heed the warning, according to Russian state-owned news agency RIA Novosti. The United States and its allies, which supply weapons to the Kyiv regime, actually become accomplices in its war crimes, Zakharova said. If Washington decides to supply Kyiv with longer-range missiles, it will cross the red line and become a direct party to the conflict. We reserve the right to defend our territory with everything available to us. In such a scenario, we will be forced to respond adequately. In my opinion, this is obvious. Such an irresponsible step will be extremely destabilizing, contribute to an additional increase in tension, and provoke an arms race. Russian officials have repeatedly criticized and called for an end to Western aid for Ukraine in the war, but some Western-supplied weapons, including the U.S.-made high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, have gained widespread attention for their effectiveness in the fight against Russia. While it remains unclear if the U.S. will ultimately send longer-range missiles to Ukraine, Zaharova's warning echoed a Russian diplomat's suggestion this month that the U.S. providing these weapons would directly involve it in the war, which began when Ukraine was invaded on February 24th. We have repeatedly warned the U.S. about the consequences that may follow if the U.S. continues to flood Ukraine with weapons, Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said on state television on September 2nd, according to the Associated Press. It effectively puts itself in a state close to what can be described as a party to the conflict. He added that a very narrow margin that separates the U.S. from becoming a party to the conflict mustn't create an illusion for rabid anti-Russian forces that everything will remain as it is if they cross it. The latest U.S. security assistance package for Ukraine, worth $675 million, included more HIMARS ammunition, as well as 4 howitzers, high-speed anti-radiation missiles, and 100 armored high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles. The same day that the U.S. announced the package last week, U.S. General Mark Milley, chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, said that Ukraine had used the HIMARS for strikes on more than 400 Russian targets in the war. With the U.S.-supplied HIMARS, Ukraine is able to launch GPS-guided missiles that can reach targets up to 50 miles away. The U.S. has yet to send Ukraine longer-range HIMARS missiles that travel to targets up to 186 miles away that would give the war-torn country the capability to strike deep inside Russia, AP reported. Newsweek reached out to Russia's foreign ministry and the Pentagon for comment. Just
All right, y'all. So you heard that. We heard this before, and the action is really still between Russia and Ukraine, and that has not changed. But yes, Russia has been complaining the entire time about all of the aid that is going over to Ukraine, not to mention many of the citizens are even complaining about that. But this is something that the Western nations have been doing. And, I did a story a few weeks ago about Russia making the accusation that the U.S. is fighting with them through Ukraine. And who knows when anything else beyond the fight between Russia and Ukraine will occur. But I do still say eventually this war is going to become physical with the US involved. I still feel that way. I really believe sooner or later the US will be involved with a physical war in this whole thing. Now, we shall see what happens. They keep saying that the US will face consequences, but we haven't seen those consequences as of yet. That's one thing. But, we do know what Russia has been saying all this time. So we'll see what the reaction will be over the next coming weeks and even months. I do believe that this war will continue. through the rest of 2022 into 2023. I don't believe it will end. You know, for all of the people that said this was going to be short, now you see it's not short at all, and it's not going to be short. There is no end in sight. And that has also been said in previous stories that I have done. And I do believe that. But this thing, they are in deep. And I think neither side is going to stop fighting. That's the way it looks. Am I surprised that Russia is doing this? No, I'm not. But like I said, we have heard this before. Let's see what will happen. That's all I have to say. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think Russia will act on their threat to the US, or do you think this is just some more smoking mirrors coming out of Russia? We shall see. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.